We done heard all these stories. We know all these stories. We done known somebody that was picked up on. I got homeboys that Magic Johnson done try to pull.
You know, I was thinking about this Diddy situation. I talked to a few people, and I seem to think that the reason why their groups are so close is because all of them have a certain type of STD. I think they all got the alphabet. Now, bear with me, guys, because I'm not even trying to cap. I looked at it like this. You know they're not using condoms, right? So if you're in a party not using condoms, it ain't like you can catch something twice, right? You know, so if you already got something, ain't like you can catch it again. So I believe, you know, one of my theories is that these people at these Diddy parties were so close because they all had STDs. And so, therefore, all the super freaky stuff, it ain't like you could catch something twice. So almost like having a disease is a rite of passage for that group. You understand what I'm saying?
Magic Johnson has finally decided to spill the real tea, and this time, he's naming names. Turns out, Diddy might have had his fingerprints all over how Magic actually ended up catching HIV. Back in the day when the shocking news first dropped, people couldn't stop asking questions. How did Magic really get it? Was it from a woman? A man? The streets were buzzing like crazy. But Magic stood firm, saying he never messed with any man, claiming a woman passed it to him. The media ran with that story for decades, but behind the scenes, whispers were building up. And now those whispers are turning into shouts. Fast forward to 2025, and Magic's tune has completely changed. People close to the situation say he's been opening up about the real truth. And word is, he was deep in the mix at Diddy's infamous freak-offs. Yeah, those wild secret parties everyone's been gossiping about for years. Sources say Magic wasn't just watching, he was right in the action, getting down with both men and women like there were no limits. And here's where it gets even messier. During that same time, Magic was a married man. The image he built as a family guy and NBA legend was being played out in public, while behind closed doors, chaos ruled. The layers of deception, fame, and pleasure make this revelation feel like something straight out of a Hollywood scandal. Except this time, it's all too real. It's still a mystery why Magic kept quiet all these years about Diddy's connection to his HIV story.
Moved to New York City, and I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you over to something called Puffy Flavor Camp.
There you go.
To learn
Flavor Camp?
Yeah,
Flavor
that's
Camp.
what it was called. And you're going to go to Puff Daddy's. He's going
In the 90s, do you understand what that's like?
Puffy's place was like just filled with chicks and orgying like nonstop, right?
Nah, not really. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you
I
seeing?
went there to see the lifestyle.
Right.
And I saw it. And it was but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild.
So nobody tried.
Jodeci,
And your parents were
Mary
okay?
J. Blige, they didn't know nothing about this.
Oh.
I was having a good time, you know what I mean?
Does he have you doing any chores? Are you doing dishes at all? I mean, to keep you humble somewhat? Or are you just like, can you stay up till 4 a.m. with them and party?
I mean, I could. I actually stayed up longer than them.
But baby, the silence is officially over, and he's not holding anything back this time. When Magic first came clean to the world about his diagnosis back in 1991, he said the virus came from sleeping with multiple women and skipping protection. The confession rocked the entire sports world, and the timing made it even wilder. This happened just 6 weeks after he married Cookie, who was heavily pregnant with their son, EJ. The man was supposed to be starting a family, but instead, he was out here living recklessly in the fast lane. The news hit Cookie like a lightning bolt. 1 minute she's preparing for motherhood, and the next, she's rushing to the hospital terrified, wondering if her husband's actions might have put her and her unborn child in danger.
Allegedly. I'm just curious, what he done?
Damn.
Shout out to Magic Johnson, a real black billionaire who wasn't all freaked off, who actually made business, bank exchange, created dollars in real black neighborhoods so real black families could have that opportunity just like everybody.
Imagine that stress, being pregnant and finding out your husband was running around unprotected with who knows how many people. It was humiliating and heartbreaking all at once. Reports at the time said Cookie had to undergo emergency testing, and when results came back showing both her and baby EJ were negative, the relief was massive, but the damage was already done. Even though she and the baby were safe, the public wasn't as forgiving. Magic became the target of endless whispers and late-night jokes, people dragging him for endangering his wife and child while pretending to be the perfect husband. The backlash was brutal, and for years, the shadow of that scandal followed him everywhere he went. But now that he's speaking up again, people are realizing the story might have been a whole lot deeper than anyone ever imagined. And honestly, who could really blame people for side-eyeing him after everything that went down? Magic had put his wife and their unborn child in danger, all because he couldn't control his wild urges to freak off with whoever caught his attention. It didn't matter if they were models, groupies, or industry insiders, Magic was moving reckless, and everyone knew it. The scandal wasn't just messy, it was terrifying, especially when you realize how close Cookie and baby EJ came to being caught up in the same nightmare.
Like having like a lot of women.
Oh yeah, let's just go down the rabbit hole of all of his sins.
I'm just saying.
You want to know what's wild about that though? He faced that head up.
He did.
And he didn't stop. And he didn't stop doing what he's done.
He an advocate. Now he did do that. And
period. Listen to me. He faced that head up. How many dudes is running around undetectable? G.
Now, one of the biggest questions that dominated headlines back then was this: did Magic get HIV from a man or a woman? He stood firm, swearing up and down that it came from a woman, not a man. But people weren't so sure. You have to remember, this was the early 90s when HIV was still heavily misunderstood. Back then, the world associated the virus almost exclusively with gay men, and the stigma was everywhere. Folks didn't have the right education, and the media was spreading wild narratives that made it hard for anyone to tell fact from fear. So when Magic came out with his diagnosis, the speculation hit the roof. Rumors exploded online and in tabloids, people throwing all kinds of DL down low accusations his way.
20 right now that I could rattle off names, and wouldn't nobody be able to sue me.
Wait, please name them, because we need to know. Wait a minute.
Those are things that I'll be discussing on the Jaguar Wright show from here on out.
For years, the whispers followed him, no matter how many times he denied it. But one thing that really helped calm the storm was Cookie's loyalty. The fact that she stood by him, refused to walk away, and appeared in public holding his hand. That spoke volumes. Her support became his shield, helping him reshape his image when the world was ready to turn its back on him. But behind that calm smile, everyone wondered, what did Cookie really know?
Y'all don't see the lineup?
Yeah, we see the lineup. I'm just waiting to see who's next.
Jay-Z is setting Diddy up. Why is everyone having such a hard time? He ain't doing different. He lined up D. Haven, stole his life and identity. He lined up Big L, stole his life and identity. He lined up Dame Dash, stole his life, identity, and took his love. Lined up R. Kelly. He wants to be the one.
Let's not be coy. You know, I am Jaguar. So let's just keep it a buck. Let's keep it a bean. Stevie J should be charged. Mary J. Blige should also be charged.
Jennifer Lopez
should definitely be charged. Should I keep going?
I mean, you're hitting it off.
Jay-Z should be charged. Khaled should be charged. Rick Ross should be charged. Usher should be charged and tried with him. Off of Justin Bieber alone.
Magic had managed to reshape his image for years. The clean-cut legend, the businessman, the family man who overcame tragedy. But all that carefully built respect started to crack once the whole mess with Diddy came crawling back into the spotlight. Suddenly, people began digging again, and what they uncovered had the internet in pure chaos. Turns out, Magic wasn't just cool with Diddy. They were real close during the same period he got diagnosed. That connection alone had people raising eyebrows. And if you remember, that was around the same time Wendy Williams dropped one of her most explosive bombs ever, exposing how Diddy was allegedly hosting wild backroom parties involving other men and those infamous Hollywood freak-offs. Back then, no one even imagined Diddy was moving like that, so when Wendy aired it out, it shook the whole entertainment world. Of course, Diddy went ballistic, denying everything, threatening lawsuits, and trying to bury the story before it spread. But the whispers never stopped. Now that the old rumors are resurfacing, people online are connecting the dots, saying Magic might have been one of the first people Diddy was allegedly doing those freak-offs with, until Magic caught HIV and suddenly backed off. Diddy, on the other hand, allegedly kept the party going, pulling in all kinds of celebrities into his secret circle. And here's where it gets even darker. People are now claiming that over time, several stars in that same crowd ended up testing positive too. The name that's getting tossed around the most? Allegedly Usher. If that's true, it paints a picture of a scene way more dangerous and twisted than anyone realized. And Magic's quiet ties to it make everything look 10 times worse. It's been swirling around the rumor mill for years now. Whispers that Usher might have contracted an STD, and that it allegedly traces back to his early days living under Diddy's roof. When Usher was just 14, he moved in with Diddy to chase his music dreams, but that so-called mentorship might have been one of the biggest regrets of his life. Back then, everyone thought it was a golden opportunity, a young talent being groomed for stardom by one of the biggest names in the industry. But as Usher got older, he started dropping hints that what he experienced wasn't normal at all. He once opened up about being exposed to wild adult scenes, saying he was made to see and even be around things no 14-year-old should ever be near. The stories were disturbing, with people now realizing how deeply wrong that whole setup was. Diddy himself even slipped up in an old interview, laughing while admitting that he used to share the same bed with a teenage Usher every night. When fans saw that clip years later, the internet went into meltdown. And let's be real, with Diddy's long list of questionable behavior and the growing number of people calling out his actions, that admission doesn't sit right at all. Him sleeping in the same bed with a teenage boy isn't just strange, it's a massive red flag waving for everyone to see. What was once brushed off as industry bonding now looks like a deeply disturbing situation that could explain why Usher's been so quiet about that chapter of his life. People are finally asking, what really happened behind those closed doors, and how much of it has been buried for decades? Now, when it comes to those jaw-dropping claims about Diddy allegedly infecting Usher with an STD, the drama around that goes way deeper than people realize. The rumors exploded after a supposed email leaked online from one of the publishers working on Kim Porter's unreleased tell-all book. In that email, the publisher allegedly talked about how Kim exposed some shocking truths about Diddy's private life. And one of the wildest claims was that he allegedly forced Usher into an intimate situation that left him infected with an STD. The details were so intense that the internet nearly broke trying to process it. According to the leaked message, Kim's manuscript didn't just touch on that one story. It reportedly laid out everything. Diddy's secret relationships with men, footage of his private encounters, the names of the people he was involved with, and even mentions of multiple STDs being passed around. The email specifically stated that the book covered Diddy giving Usher an STD, and even hinted at an explosive argument that allegedly went down between Diddy and Usher's mom afterward. The level of drama and darkness being described sounded straight out of a Hollywood thriller, except these were real people with real reputations on the line. And if that wasn't messy enough, years later in 2017, Usher got hit with his own lawsuit from a woman who claimed he allegedly gave her herpes. She said Usher never disclosed his diagnosis, even though reports claimed he was first diagnosed back in 2009. That lawsuit threw gasoline on old rumors, with people connecting dots and wondering if the infection might have traced all the way back to those early Diddy years. Whether true or not, it reignited a firestorm that refused to die down, and the internet's still not done digging. The woman in question claimed she tested positive for herpes after experiencing symptoms, and what really pushed her to get tested were the online reports about Usher's alleged diagnosis. Once that story hit the headlines, people started putting two and two together, saying the timeline didn't lie. And of course, the internet went wild, with many convinced that if Usher truly had it, the infection might have traced all the way back to his early days with Diddy. Some even say Diddy could have been the one who originally passed it to him when Usher was still just a teenager. It's a disturbing thought, but that's the theory that's been circling for years now, and it refuses to fade away. Now, shifting back to Magic, the whispers around how he allegedly got HIV have taken a whole new turn thanks to singer Jaguar Wright. In one of her explosive interviews, Jaguar claimed she got the scoop straight from someone inside Magic's own camp. According to what she said, Magic supposedly told Cookie in private that he didn't get HIV from random women, but allegedly from men he was involved with at Diddy's infamous freak-offs. That statement alone sent shockwaves through the internet, with fans replaying her clip over and over trying to catch every word. What's wild is that Jaguar, who's known for tearing people apart when she exposes them, didn't even drag Magic this time. That soft tone she used got people talking, almost like she knew something even deeper was going on. It left folks wondering if she was holding back out of respect, or out of fear of what more could come out if she pushed too far. Instead of bashing Magic like she usually does with everyone else, Jaguar actually praised him. She gave him his flowers for cutting Diddy off completely after his diagnosis and choosing to do something meaningful with his life and money. She said Magic turned his pain into purpose, using his platform to uplift the Black community, fund businesses, and bring awareness to HIV instead of hiding behind fame and power. Meanwhile, Diddy, according to her, did the total opposite. He allegedly kept on throwing those freak-off parties and, in the process, might have infected even more people. The contrast between the two couldn't be more dramatic, and Jaguar made sure to emphasize that difference loud and clear. But Jaguar wasn't done yet. When the interviewer tried to get slick and throw shade about Magic's HIV diagnosis, she shut it down fast. Jaguar stepped right in, defending him with passion, saying that at least Magic had the courage to face the truth head-on. She pointed out that Magic didn't run or hide. He owned up to it publicly, back when doing that could have destroyed his entire career. According to Jaguar, that honesty made him a symbol of awareness, helping millions understand what HIV really was, instead of letting fear and stigma win. She said, "At least Magic used his pain to educate the world. And honestly, even his critics couldn't argue with that." Unlike Diddy, Jaguar made it crystal clear that she had no problem calling people out, and she wasn't holding back even a little bit. Oh, but she wasn't done there, not by a long shot. She dropped another bombshell that left everyone's jaws on the floor. Jaguar claimed that aside from Diddy, there were around 20 other major figures in the entertainment industry who allegedly carry the same disease, and she said she could name every single one of them without breaking a sweat. According to her, none of them would even dare to sue because, in her words, it's true and the medical records can back it up. The interviewer immediately tried to press her for names, clearly shocked by how bold she was being. But Jaguar just smirked and refused to spill the list. Not yet, anyway. She teased that she wasn't going to hand the story over for free, saying she planned to drop all the details later on her own platform, The Jaguar Wright Show. That statement alone sent social media into a frenzy, with people speculating nonstop about who those 20 names could be. If what she's saying turns out to be true, she's sitting on one of the most explosive exposés the music industry has ever seen, and everyone's waiting for the day she finally lets those names fly. Now, even though Jaguar didn't drop any names this time, fans wasted no time playing detective. People online already have a few guesses because in some of her older interviews, she's accused certain high-profile celebrities of being part of Diddy's secret lifestyle and those wild freak-off events. So when she hinted that around 20 people in the industry allegedly carry the same disease, the internet practically exploded with speculation. Threads, podcasts, and TikToks lit up overnight with people connecting old clues and trying to match names from her past stories, and some of those guesses were shocking. If there's one thing about Jaguar, it's that she's not scared to say names, no matter how powerful the person is. She's been calling out major players for years, never flinching or backing down even when the backlash gets heavy. And recently, she took things up another notch, accusing Jay-Z himself of allegedly cutting a secret deal with the feds to help bring Diddy down. According to her, the move was strategic, meant to protect his own empire and make sure none of Diddy's dirt could ever trace back to him. The way Jaguar laid it out, it sounded like a chess game between two industry titans, one going down and the other making sure he stays clean. She ended it by saying, "Y'all don't see the lineup?" And honestly, after everything that's been surfacing, people definitely started to. So at this point, it's hard to ignore the chilling pattern that keeps popping up. The same accusations, the same sickness, and one name that always seems to be at the center of it all: Diddy. If what's being alleged is even halfway true, then it means Diddy wasn't just living wild. He was allegedly putting people's lives in danger. And if that's the case, then Magic might have been one of the earliest victims caught up in it too. The whole thing sounds like something out of a dark Hollywood movie, but the pieces are starting to line up in ways that are hard to dismiss. Sources claim that back in the early 90s, Magic was terrified to speak the full truth about how he really caught HIV. The world wasn't ready to hear about freak-offs or the hidden parties powerful men were hosting behind closed doors. If he had come forward back then, Diddy allegedly would have used every bit of his power to silence him or even spin the media to make him look delusional. Imagine being one of the biggest stars in the world and knowing you couldn't tell your own truth without destroying your life. That fear alone explains why Magic stayed quiet for so long. And now, decades later, more people are starting to speak up, saying Diddy allegedly gave them HIV too. One person flat out said, Diddy gave HIV to artists, and others are echoing the same claim online. It's disturbing, it's tragic, and it paints a picture of a man who might have left a trail of victims behind him without ever being held accountable. Until now. People online are going crazy over these new claims. One comment straight up said, Diddy had it and was spreading it, while another person didn't hold back at all, writing, Diddy is nasty, 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 keep him locked up. The internet's in full meltdown mode, and honestly, it's hard to tell what's rumor and what's truth anymore. With everything that's been coming out, the question on everyone's mind is simple. If all these allegations line up, how deep does this rabbit hole really go? Because if Diddy was really out here infecting people knowingly, that's a level of scandal the industry's never seen before. But now I gotta ask, what do you think about all this? Do you believe the talk that Diddy might have allegedly given Magic HIV? And do you think there's any truth to the claims that Magic was secretly messing with men back in the day? Drop your thoughts down below. I want to see where y'all stand on this one, because this story is shaking Hollywood to its core. And don't forget, hit that like button, share this video with someone who needs to see it, and subscribe so you don't miss the next bombshell we break down. Trust me, the next one is even messier. See you on the next one.